11 Shocking and Scandalous Facts about Randolph Churchill. Randolph Churchill, the son of British Prime Minister Winston Churchill, lived a life filled with as much controversy and scandal as his father had with fame and leadership. Here are 11 astonishing and lesser-known facts about this intriguing figure. Fact number 1. Early life and military service of Randolph Churchill. Randolph Churchill, born in 1911, was the son of Winston Churchill. His education at Christ Church, Oxford, was short-lived, as he left to pursue a lecture tour in the United States in 1930. This decision reflected his penchant for a lavish lifestyle, which consistently strained his finances. In World War II, Randolph served as an intelligence officer. His military assignments took him to the Middle East and Yugoslavia, where he engaged with resistance fighters. His approach was often considered bold and impulsive, traits that define much of his life and career. Post-war, Randolph turned to journalism and writing, contributing to major publications like the Daily Telegraph and penning several books. His works often focused on political and historical subjects, including detailed accounts of his father's life and career. His personal and professional lives were intertwined with the broader historical events of his time, marked by both controversy and bravery. Number 2. Expelled from school for rebellion. Randolph Churchill's expulsion from Eton College occurred around 1927 when he was approximately 17 years old. Despite the prestigious nature of Eton, which had educated many British leaders, Randolph's conduct was consistently problematic. His academic performance lagged considerably, and his behavior was seen as defiant and inappropriate for the disciplined environment of the school. Historical accounts note that Randolph's expulsion was a significant embarrassment to his father, Winston Churchill, who was then serving as the Chancellor of the Exchequer. This incident set a precedent for Randolph's lifelong pattern of rebellion against social and professional expectations. Number 3. A tumultuous marriage and family life. Randolph Churchill married Pamela Digby on October 4, 1939, at St. John's Parish Church in London. The marriage, characterized by mutual infidelities, notably Pamela's affair with Averell Harriman, ended in divorce in 1946. They had one son, Winston Churchill II, who eventually entered politics. In 1948, Randolph married June Osborne, and they had a daughter, Arabella Churchill, who became known for her philanthropic work and role in organizing the Glastonbury Festival. This marriage also ended in divorce, in 1961. Randolph's third marriage was to Natalie Bevan in 1961, but they separated a decade later in 1971, and had no children. Randolph's multiple marriages and the complex relationships with his children mirrored his own tumultuous and vibrant public persona. Number 4. Feud with his mother. Randolph Churchill's relationship with his mother, Clementine Churchill, was marked by notable public and private conflicts. The most significant clash occurred in the late 1940s when Randolph published a series of articles criticizing his parents' upbringing, particularly targeting his mother's approach. These articles, appearing in various British newspapers, portrayed his upbringing as emotionally stifling and lacking warmth, directly implicating Clementine. Clementine's response to these public criticisms was one of profound distress. In private, she expressed deep disappointment, referring to Randolph as a disaster and a continual source of worry. These sentiments, though initially private, later became public, further straining their relationship. The fallout from this public disagreement led to a prolonged period of estrangement, with minimal and often strained interactions at family gatherings. It wasn't until Randolph faced serious health issues that the relationship saw some reconciliation, with Clementine extending support to her son despite past grievances. Number 5. Heavy gambling debts. Randolph Churchill's gambling issues became notably severe during the late 1930s and continued throughout his life. He was a frequent visitor to high-stakes gambling venues such as the casinos in Monte Carlo and often accrued massive debts. On several occasions, Winston Churchill had to intervene financially, notably paying off a gambling debt of £12,000 in the late 1930s, a significant sum at the time. These bailouts strained Winston's resources and patience, leading to private reprimands and concerns over Randolph's lack of financial prudence and the potential for scandal that could impact the family's reputation. Randolph's gambling addiction was a continuous source of stress and conflict within the Churchill family, reflecting his broader struggles with personal discipline and responsibility. Number 6. Verbal assault on a diplomat. In 1956, during a reception at the U.S. Embassy in London, Randolph Churchill had a heated altercation with John Foster Dulles, the then U.S. Secretary of State. The argument, reportedly over differences in Anglo-American policies in the Suez Crisis, escalated quickly. Randolph, known for his fiery temper, openly criticized Dulles' stance, using sharp and provocative language that almost led to physical confrontation. Witnesses described Randolph as red-faced and gesticulating wildly, which led to his swift removal by security personnel to avoid further scandal. This event was particularly embarrassing as it coincided with sensitive diplomatic negotiations. Number 7. A secret affair with Princess Margaret. Rumors of Randolph's romantic involvement with Princess Margaret were fueled by their frequent attendance at the same social events in the early 1950s. While there is no concrete evidence, it is suggested that their closeness began around 1953, a period marked by Margaret's highly scrutinized personal life following her sister's coronation. Their relationship, largely kept out of the public eye due to its potential to cause a constitutional crisis, was speculated to have been intense but brief, with close friends and royal insiders hinting at a mutual fondness that could never fully develop into a public romance. Number 8. Battle with alcoholism. Randolph Churchill's battle with alcoholism, which began during his service in the British Army in World War II, became a significant aspect of his life. By the 1950s, his dependency on alcohol was evident, leading to multiple embarrassing incidents. For example, at a diplomatic dinner in 1954, an inebriated Randolph openly criticized a senior British politician, causing a public scandal. His family, particularly his father Winston Churchill, was deeply concerned about Randolph's excessive drinking. Winston's private correspondence often expressed frustration and worry about his son's health and the impact of his habits on his career. Despite these concerns, Randolph's health issues exacerbated by alcoholism became severe in the 1960s. He faced multiple hospitalizations for liver and heart conditions directly related to his drinking. In 1966, following a severe health crisis, doctors warned him that continuing to drink could be fatal. However, Randolph struggled with sobriety, and his health and professional reputation continued to deteriorate. Number 9. Failed political career. Despite his initial political ambitions, Randolph's career was stymied by his reputation for unreliability and his erratic public behavior. His attempt to win a seat in Parliament for the Conservative Party in Devonport in 1945 ended in failure, with his personal life and lack of political seriousness often cited by voters as key reasons. He tried again in 1950 and 1951 but was unable to overcome his negative public image. His political aspirations were often seen as attempts to leverage his father's legacy rather than indications of his own genuine commitment to public service. Number 10. Alleged plot to replace his father. During the height of World War II, there were whispers about Randolph Churchill possibly stepping in to replace his father as Prime Minister should Winston Churchill's health or leadership falter. Though these rumors were never substantiated, they fueled discussions about his ambition and willingness to ascend to power, even potentially at the expense of his own father. This alleged plot, whether true or not, contributed to the complex and often contentious perception of Randolph's character within political circles and by the public. Number 11. Clandestine activities during the Cold War. Randolph's involvement in clandestine Cold War activities included a secretive trip to Yugoslavia in the early 1950s, where he was rumored to have met with Josip Broz Tito, ostensibly as a journalist. However, it is believed that he carried messages from the British government, seeking to assess Tito's stance towards the Soviet Union. Although not officially acknowledged, these activities were part of Randolph's broader efforts to remain relevant in political and diplomatic circles, often acting on his own initiative without formal authorization, which added to his enigmatic and controversial figure.